That I don't know their names, and all the old ones I'm not.
Oh, well, the original.
Not easy for you, huh?
Ja, met de band sind jetzt alle fast alle gestorben, nicht alle gestorben. Der Schlagzeuger ist krank, lebt. Ich bin nicht sicher, ob der präferiert. Besser nicht, aber so wieder ist er da. Und, aber es ist wenig. Also, das Problem war, total ist so Jazzspieler in der Zeit, in den 50er Jahren und 60er Jahren, war nie reich oder wir haben genug Geld gehabt, aber das der Weg, wo Leute mit mehr Geld, die immer suchen gute, besondere Medizin und besondere Dinge für das und das. Also, und die sind in besserer Position. Also so viele von uns, die haben für Bier und getrunken, ich nicht, aber also, ich mag das nicht.
Aber es ist oft bei Musikern.
Ja, well, es kann sein, but there were a lot of good people who were trying to play jazz or playing jazz back in the 50s.
Yeah.
Really, it didn't seem to be that they couldn't imagine that they have to keep fit because they're going to be able to do it in 50 years' time. They didn't expect to be anywhere, you see. So that's well, they were wrong, you see. And I seem to have. I have actually a very natural, good immune system. I didn't know.
I think so.
I didn't know about it. See, I just was, and I had some illness. Could be really bad. My appendix burst when I was eating school meal dinner. When I was 7. At that time, they didn't know what to do about that. They could open it, but the trouble is the appendix contained nasty germs. They had nothing else to stop them. They had just found something then, so I got the benefit of that. So
aber jetzt bist du wieder gut. Jetzt bist du gut drauf.
But I never had. The funniest thing is when I became a leader of the band. Well, after Ken Collier had left, well, his brother tried to tell us that but if we want to stay with Ken, we really could. And we said, it's our band, not yours. Yeah. But it's his and ours. And we had a majority, so it's called majority.
I know that's all.
So so on. So at that time, we were excited to go and get on, and so on. We were very popular already, and I remember walking around Soho in London, and I had a sore throat, really bad. I never had a worse sore throat. Not just a cough, but really horrible. And of course, in those days, we had real hospitals in London, in the middle of London. Of course, in there they couldn't afford to stay there. They moved out. But there was the one at St George's at Harper Corner. I went along. I said, "Well, I'm sore throat terrible." They said, "Well, take this and test it on." They said, "Well, sit over there." I said, "Well, what is it?" He said, "Well, they had some things. They showed me a blood test. See, yes, with no white corpuscle. Not few, none. It's called drusen fever. It's a drusen fever. So that's why the strictest man can have. Ohne die weißen Korpuskel. So, also ich felt okay. So es war eine Woche in den Spital. Die haben mir strikte Essen gegeben. Penicillin war neu und das so etwas war, aber after a week, I said, I must go back to my band. So I walked out, and I saw, and they had one day, a nurse came along with a blood test. I said, what's on that? Say. And there was, on the whole thing, one white corpuscle out of all of them. See, that's interesting. I mean, I should have been dead the next day. However, I went back to work. Yeah. And I didn't suffer, you see. Now, a very good friend of mine, who was the British, he was the world champion mile racer and so on. He was in charge of the Olympic Games in London recently. A great jazz enthusiast, lovely man. He, when he was world champion mile racer, running and so on and so forth, and he went to the Olympic Games in Moscow, and he couldn't run. He had the same thing, glandular fever, drusen fever, and he was out of action for 6 months.
Oh, how? Yeah.
And I lost 2 days.
Yeah.
Now, it's not fair, you know.
No, that's not fair.
But that kind of unfair I will accept.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to do, you know. The risk is if you have luck with things which could hurt you or cause a great problem for you, if you have luck that you come through, you risk that you are too confident. You may believe you'll always come through. Even that truck going to hit you, it doesn't matter, you'll come through. No, you won't, not necessarily. So you have to learn to be more careful, but even because, it could be dangerous.
Ja, aber ich denke, es ist doch auch anstrengend. Du machst ja eine Tour nach der anderen. Du bist ja immer unterwegs. Immer wieder.
Nein,
und ich hab mal mit Ian Wheeler gesprochen.
Ja, ja.
Und der hat zu mir gesagt, er kann das nicht. Er kann das nicht. Immer aus dem Koffer leben. Das kann er nicht.
Ian was a good friend, a lovely player. And we met him when we started the band. One Sunday was playing with us. And Ian was a friend of ours and other people. And he was ill. He had TB, tuberculosis.
Oh, yeah.
And in those days, 1940, 50-something, they had nothing. All they could do was to relax, take one lung, take the air, so it didn't work. Mm-hmm. So he had one lung running, see the idea? And he carried on his whole life on one lung.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, I mean, you've seen him, he only died a few years ago. He was smoking home-rolled cigarettes, which are terrible, not much nicotine, all day, every day. He drank a lot of whiskey because he would sleep better. Whiskey, you see,
he has a very red nose every time.
Of course, you see, and in the end, and he had what's it called when the body is all water more or less round. And he had this trouble, you see, and he was still playing the clarinet wonderfully, you see now, but. It's hard to say. What can you say? He maybe if they could have done something better with his tuberculosis in the first place, he might have been stronger. But when he was in good form, it kept it a long time, to about at least till 1900, at least till 2000. He kept it up.
Yeah,
really, he was very good. Mm-hmm. Then after that, it began to really hit him. And it's very sad. He was a lovely man, very good friend.
And your best friend, Pat Halcox?
Yes, of course. Yes, again. But Pat had what do you call it? A disease, one where they can't just speak or anything. It's oh dear. What's it called now? Parkinson.
Oh yeah.
Parkinson.
Yeah.
And the problem with Parkinson is that I believe that when they can't, they are very still.
Yeah.
I believe when they are still, they can hear what you're saying. Mm. Because we were with him, my wife and I came along with Pat's wife, and it was 2 weeks before he died. And we were he had 24-hour service, a nice place that looked after him. We came in, and he was in his suit, lying on the bed, doing very well. We were talking. Very sensible discussion, and it was really well. Then he said, I'm going to have a rest now. See, we carried on talking, and we talked about different things. He then woke up again, and he mentioned things we had spoken when he was asleep with the disease. But you see, the problem with that Parkinson is that muscles don't work. Yeah. You don't use muscles to hear things. Yeah, I bet you, they may find.
I know some people that will hear.
Actually, they will hear
Parkinson.
And they will hear something, you know. Mm-hmm. I mean, of course, your friend shouldn't get in there and shout at them. It's ridiculous. But one day, doctors might be able to help them in some way, because it's a special thing nobody else can do. Yeah. Who knows? Yeah. But anyway, so Pat could hear, but his body just closed down. And that was it. Very sad. He was, he was healthy most of his life. His son is a top-level brain surgeon, and a very, very good one. So
we only can hope that you
so far
are full of power for the long time.
It seems to be all right, you know. Yeah? It seems to be okay. I mean,
it seems good. I think Ralf has a question.
Do you like the show? tonight?
Do I what?
Do you delight the show?
The show.
Was
I
it
like it.
fine here in Itzehoe? The first time in Itzehoe?
No, we've been in Itzehoe many times, but a long
Yeah?
time ago.
Yeah.
Quite a long time since
Yeah.
we've been here. In an old hall, not this nice one, but another hall. But the people were very nice, and I like it. I mean, with this music, it's quite. We say the English word is rough and ready. You know, it's okay, but you feel good always, and so it's no difficulty. If somebody gets up from the audience and starts shouting at you, doing this, you know, you could.
Why so much duetting? Why so much duetting?
We like it.
Yeah.
We like it. I mean, you see, the funny thing is the New Orleans guys, they didn't write tunes very much. It's the way they played them. Okay, so we've heard Louis Armstrong, every version of some different tunes he's played. I know them all. And if I played the trumpet, but I would find myself playing one of Louis' versions. I wouldn't find any other one. So I'd rather get hold of the style and find some other material to play in that style. And say, well, that's maybe what we'll do if Louis Armstrong had played this. That's interesting, you know. And of course, I might be wrong. He might have said, "You're terrible, go away." I have no idea. No, he didn't say that. It was very nice to us. We were in America. We were on concerts twice, where it was the final act of a big concert was Louis Armstrong All Stars. We were on before him, exactly before him. A lot of famous bands were on before us, and we got a very big reception. And Louis said, "Do another one." I was past my time already. He said, "Come on, do another one." And that's a very generous spirit he had, you know. It's very nice.
Yeah.
So I try to be the same.
Yeah.
He's a special good reed player, and so he
reed
heard your
A little bit.
music with
Well, I mean,
with other ears than
of course we
I
have.
do.
I mean, we have when we started out, the people who played jazz, traditional jazz, anyway, let's say it, in Britain and Europe, they were not trained musicians. The trained musicians played modern jazz because it led them to the kind of music reading, and it's nothing wrong with it, but it's not improvising in the same way, not personal, but ours is personal. Okay, now we've through the years, finally now we get really good musicians who are playing in our sort of jazz, so you can enjoy because they have new other ideas of improvisation and modifying the thing, so that we can play because we can pick up their modification and pass it to the next and so on. But that's how you play this music.
Yeah.
So and whereas if we only have the kind of beginners, used to be at the beginning, they don't have so many phrases. We know the answer for those already. There's nothing wrong with them, but you don't want to do it again. You like to have something different, but not to be altogether different music, but different melodies are nice to do it. That's all I can say. We have some excellent reed players now who really can play, and it was probably the least the first ones to learn to play with trumpeters.
Yeah.
Because of course playing the melody is exciting, so they had a reason to get it right, you know. But the other ones, you know, come along. But the reed players were quite slow at it. I mean, we have one good one here. You see?
Yeah.
You see?
It's fine. It's fine.
Was
this the start of your tour?
No, the tour started on Monday.
Yeah.
In what you call it, Duisburg.
Yeah.
And it was we played with a symphony orchestra.
Yeah.
We have some music which we played it in Hamburg once actually with Hamburg Symphony Orchestra quite a while ago. But it's a friend of ours and I, we cooked it up together, and it's written. It's traditional jazz music, especially one and written, and it was in effect it was made possible for us by the DDR.
Yeah.
But they were offered the idea that we would come and play there. So we have the Palace Republic, as best and all, as a Republic, and we had a week there. We played with the radio, the full 80-piece radio symphony orchestra, the best one for sound ever. And the conductor was a wonderful old opera man. It was brilliant. He loved it. He'd never heard jazz before.
And who write this music? This?
Well, a friend of mine called Richard Hill.
Yeah?
Was
In Britain?
He was, yes, Britain.
Yeah?
He's the same age as me, more or less. He was at music school. He was taught, but he learned the trombone at school. He had played in orchestras and so on. He also could write music. He could also, that kind of produce records and so on. We had heard sometimes recordings were made where usually modern jazz, because they can play more notes and it's more interesting for a musician to play with them, and they would be playing with a symphony orchestra, something which we said, that's terrible. That has nothing from the piece of Dizzy Gillespie that should be in it, and it's not in there, and they never sound very good, those things, you see. And so my friend Richard Hill and I, we said, we've got to do something better than that. So we worked on it. We wrote an overture and a trombone concerto and so on, different things and so on. And that was a great success in the Daily Hour. We were for nearly a week in that Palace Republic, and wonderful audience. And of course they were more pleased about it because we didn't ask for very much Hardesverum.
And do you have a lot of score to learn it or what?
Well, no, I know it by heart.
Yes.
Like Ralf.
We played it 2 days ago in Duisburg.
Yeah.
With the Duisburg Philharmonic.
Yeah.
He has a wonderful conductor. What's his name? You remember what it is, the conductor? I always forget it. He's half Italian and half Danish. And he came from Denmark and he's doing conducting there. But he's a brilliant jazz fan. He played trombone. He played in the Danish Radio State Orchestra played jazz things as well. But he's a conductor, orchestra, very good conductor. And so we had a symphony orchestra which he was attached to. And so we had played our stuff there in Duisburg and in the Philharmonic, in the new hall they've got there. And it was... the tickets were sold out in 2 days in November last for the concert, which was this week. And they were wonderful audience. It was great music. It was wonderful. Yeah. So I love that. But you won't find much chance of doing that because there's any composer who will start right that they get too influenced by. In modern jazz, you have a lot of composers are working on it also, and the sheer plain feeling and improvisation, melodic thing of traditional jazz work is a great thing, but you've got to know how to do it. But if they want to, they can get our one. So they should get the recordings. They can borrow the music, and it's good. They're really good. It's wonderful. Well, the overture is.
This tour is 2 weeks or several weeks.
This tour is only 10 days long.
Yes,
yes. Then we come
all over Germany or what? Or Europe?
Next time in Buchholz,
Germany. Okay. Just North Germany, more or less. And then we're home for a week, and then we come back again and do some more.
Yeah.
The same sort of way. So, but we don't do as much work in every year as we used to do 40 years ago. But we have quite a lot of work. Yeah. And it's nice. We could do more. It's not very exhausting. It's okay. We can do it. It isn't really hard work.
Yeah,
it's hard work.
I think
if you don't mind sitting in a car for 5 hours, sometimes that sort of thing.
But one question I have. Bert wrote me that in Duisburg you have a termin to test how the band can play. Übung, geübt. Probe gehabt. I don't know the word in English.
Practice, rehearsal.
10 musicians. They play so exactly. You have to.
Well, it isn't so exact actually, but we know how to play that music. I mean, if the piece is written for the orchestra.
Every time new musicians and they have to work together.
Because the development of the theme in the pieces be written for this man and me together. Really, the development of the theme is just done the way they would do it on other piece of music. So you can't get wrong really. And you can change it, and we'd all say, "Oh, okay, change that, play that way." And the accompaniment.
It's great. I think it's great.
And the accompaniment wouldn't mess up, because the accompaniment doesn't only take up what we have played; they've taken up things that we might have played. But it's great music.
Yeah.
You get a chance to
Really.
The recording is technically available somewhere. I don't quite know where, but it is really worth hearing. And see, the GDR never did market it, because the GDR government, they couldn't actually work out how to sell, what to do when it's a classical orchestra playing jazz, you see. And they had a jazz record label, so we couldn't be on the jazz because it's got classical orchestra on it. And we couldn't, see, in fact, the jazz enthusiast who was working in the DDR, so they're jazz expert, he said, well, we have an LP coming, it's called Big Band. And one of the big bands was my band with the symphony orchestra. So it was a big band style piece, more or less. They allowed that, but they have this. If it's jazz, it's in that one, that label. That's just unfortunate.
Yeah.
But it was they were very nice with this. It was very good. So. And it wouldn't have happened without to get an 80-piece real full symphony orchestra in a really wonderful hall with all that, to have that without even paying for it. We're getting paid to do it. Not an awful lot of that in pounds, you know, but still, hotel was paid, of course. We could eat expensive things, and in the DDR, but way out there, we were in the hotel for the good guests, so you had enough credits. Eating fazan for every meal, you know, that sort of stuff. It's good. But it's. I mean, any New Orleans fan who can read music, a bit, you know, enough, could take our overture. They could play if they could. I mean, any New Orleans player who can read properly, technician who can play, who can read. If they had enough musicians, they could play our overture. It's a very it's got to have just got a New Orleans funeral in it, and playing Closer Walk with Thee, you know. But it's normal, you know.
And he's a youngster in the band. The youngster?
No.
Nick
Nick.
is younger.
Nick is 3 years younger than me.
Yeah. And do you have to practice your trombone every day?
No, it's better if I don't. I tend to start practicing things that I shouldn't have bothered with. Confuse myself. No, but I have to remember. I can remember as long as we do the program based the same, so I can then remember everything. Now, what happens is that sometimes the gap space, they're playing solos, and I'm instead of thinking I know what I'm going to play, I'm thinking, I could do that, and then I can't work out what to play. So and then I can't think, you know. So I have to say, discipline myself. Say, these are the parts I've worked with. They're my parts that I'm doing, which I made in the first place, mine. So, so I do it, and that's about right. But you know, at my age, you can forget things quite easily. So you don't want to. You know, that's about it.
It's very nice to.
Chris Barber,
very
thanks. Very thanks.
Great. It's great, and I wish you